Russia has again targeted the city of Lviv in the west of Ukraine, regarded as a key transfer point for military supplies from nearby Poland. Power and water networks have both been damaged. Let's talk to John Gambrell. He joins us live now from Lviv. John, there have been a number of missile strikes and attacks around Lviv since the start of the war, but now we've got power and water being hit. We understand these are the first Russian strikes in more than a week. How bad is the damage, though? Is there any indication at this stage of when services might perhaps be restored to the affected areas?
Officials are now working on this as fast as they can. We don't know exactly how bad the damage is. However, footage that was released by the authorities here show flames shooting up at the site, and a cell phone video that was taken by somebody nearby one of the substations showed just giant electrical sparks coming off after the explosion, suggesting that the infrastructure there at that substation was really damaged. Now that's material that would probably have to come in from abroad, and we're still waiting on more word from officials on when that will be. But as you mentioned before, when you knock the power off, you also affect other things that require power. That includes water pump stations. There's at least 2 water pump stations that were affected by this. The rest of the city where we are, for instance, saw their electricity flicker but come immediately back on last night. It's one of the latest attacks to target Lviv. It is considered a more safe area than the rest of Ukraine, but even with strikes happening here, it just shows how dangerous the wider country actually is.
Just looking at some striking images right now of some of those facilities on fire, John. But meantime, we know that there's a new stage of evacuation that's started from Mariupol. We've got reports that buses perhaps have already left the city, but do we know if that is progressing?
Again, this is another hot spot that's been just in the news for the last couple of days. The Ukrainians this morning had said that they were going to try to organize evacuations from a couple different points in the city, starting from about 8 a.m. local time. We're still awaiting word from officials on that. But meanwhile, we've seen just pummeling strikes start again at that steel mill where those deep underground bunkers where those Ukrainian fighters and some civilians have been. You'll remember that a couple days ago, the United Nations and the Red Cross launched this evacuation effort to try to get people out from there. Well, there are still people inside of there, and as of yesterday, Russian forces began firing on the facility. The Ukrainian fighters inside said the Russians were storming the facility, something that Russia today tried to deny in their own statement from their defense ministry. But we saw satellite photos taken early this morning, analyzed by the AP, showed plumes of black smoke rising from the site, suggesting that there's continuing fighting now.